Before we start, a huge thank you to Tiger3 for letting me use his story for tonight's video. I want to start off by saying I really don't consider myself a heavy believer in the paranormal. I feel like a lot of situations can be explained by logic or science. There are some things that simply cannot be explained though. There were 3 incidents in my childhood home that I still cannot explain to this day. If someone has experienced anything similar, feel free to give me insight. When I was younger, maybe 10 or 11, we lived in a very large old Victorian house. The house had 5 floors, very long hallways on each floor, and old wooden flooring. There were always creepy sounds at night, weird power outages, but that can be attributed to the age of the house. We liked the house a lot. The first incidents happened in the attic. We called it the attic, but in reality, it had a family room, a bathroom, a kitchen, and a guest room. The 3rd floor stairs have a landing that leads to the attic door, which takes you up a flight of stairs, and you come to a long hallway on your left that leads you to the family room at the end of the hall, and a large window on your right that the moonlight comes through. When you enter the family room, there's a spiral staircase that takes you to the top floor, which is just a dark, small room that we never used except for storage. One night, I was playing with my toys on the stairs of the 3rd floor, right next to the door that leads to the attic. We had a cat at the time. As I was playing, I heard scratching in the attic. Not wanting to get in trouble for her destroying a couch, I'm the one who asked for the cat. I opened the attic door and walked up the stairs to go find her. As soon as I reached the top of the stairs and turned down the long hallway, the scratching stopped, and the power to the house went out. I was in total darkness. I put my back against the window and slid down, and stared down the long hallway, terrified and waiting for the power to come on. As I slid down, I heard a very slow thump, thump. The sound of someone walking down the spiral staircase. The sound is unmistakable because the steps are metal. The sound continued right behind the family room door. I heard each step. The steps stopped. The family room door moved slightly, and immediately I felt this rush come over me. I got so cold, and my heart started beating in such a way, I felt it actually move my chest. After a few seconds, the door bolted open and something started sprinting down the hallway at me. I couldn't see a thing, but I felt the movement. That feeling you get when something is near you. I remember that was the first time I ever felt like prey. My heart was in my throat, but I screamed as loud as I could, and as soon as it got close to me, the rush went away and the cold left my body. My parents ran up the stairs, and after I told them what happened, they went to the breaker box and came up and looked all around and found no one. Nothing. But the handle on the family room door was broken, and the window behind me was cracked. It's possible I cracked it when I put my back to it to slide down, but it was cracked at a height I couldn't reach with my body at the time. The basement was the worst part of the house. It was one of those dreary, unfurnished concrete floor basements. It was as large as any first floor of a house. I mean, truly massive. When you open the door, the short stairs look like you're going into a cellar, and when you come down the stairs, you have to walk forward for several steps in the dark to find the string of the light and pull it. Even then, that light only illuminates the immediate area, not the rest of the basement. There are several lights like this the further you go, each one with a string to pull. To the left is the rest of the basement. It goes all the way back, and then there's a cove tucked to the left where the dogs sleep. It's out of the line of sight. Since there's a small window in the cove, it casts this bluish-black light in the morning and nights from the moon. One early morning around 5 a.m., I had to go feed the dogs since my dad was out of town. I hated when it was my turn because the basement always gave me terrible feelings. I would always call for the dogs to meet me at the stairs so I didn't have to walk down the stairs in the dark alone. I called for them, waited, and called again. They didn't come, and I heard no sound. I walked down the stairs in the dark and held my hand out to find the string to pull the light. As I reached for the light, I saw movement at the end of the basement near the cove, and my breath got caught in my chest. I pulled the light fast and the bulb popped with a quick burst of light. In that moment, I saw a man standing at the end of the basement. He didn't disappear like in the movies, though. I wish he had. In the dark, with a sliver of moonlight from the cove window, I could still see him standing there with his back to me. He didn't move at all, and his head was cocked to the left in such an unnatural way, at an angle where his neck had to be broken. He was probably 40 feet away from me. As I stood there trying to force a scream through my throat that felt like it was locked up, I couldn't look away. And in those few seconds, I stared. I saw it was less of a man and more of a thing. It had white, translucent skin and looked gangly. I pissed myself standing up. I lost all control. I think the pee snapped me out of it, because as I felt the warmth on my leg, I started backing away, and as I backed away, it sprinted to the left towards the cove where the dogs were, and I ran upstairs. Chipped my tooth falling into the stairs. Still chipped to this day. I slammed the door and locked the latch. I called my mom and we called for the dogs from the top of the stairs. No response. We went down there and both of the dogs were huddled together in the corner of the cove, and it took 5 minutes to get them to leave the corner and come upstairs with us. We had to pull them apart and walk them with us, holding their collars. The last one is short and simple, but probably the worst experience I had in that house. In that same basement, there's a furnace room to the left of the stairs, about 15 feet away from the stairs. It's dark, cramped, and has all kinds of luggage and extra supplies in it. The day before Thanksgiving, we were preparing for family to arrive. My mother sent me to get the Thanksgiving table decor, or whatever it's called. As I walked down the stairs, I saw the furnace room door was cracked. I stopped dead in my tracks. That door was never left open. We were always told to close it so the dogs don't go in it. Really, my parents made a big deal about it. I stayed on the stairs and stared at the door. I felt the hair on my neck raise and my fists clench out of instinct. As I stared, in the crack of the door, I see half a smile in one eye. The smile was so close to being human, but so far. I can't explain it. It was as though something had been observing humans to mimic them, but couldn't get its face just right. As I ran up the stairs, I heard the creak of the furnace door opening further. I slammed and locked the door, and that was the last time I ever went in the basement. From that point on, my parents never made me go back in the basement again, and delegated my basement chores to my siblings. Even though I know that they didn't believe me, it was a nice gesture that I was thankful for. Since we moved, I have never experienced anything abnormal in our houses. I'm 26 now. I have never had any issues with the paranormal since then. I like to rationalize by telling myself it was fear and my brain playing tricks on me, but part of me knows it wasn't. Hello everybody. I am the Dead Giant, and thank you so very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you have any stories of your own that you would like me to read on this channel, I'll leave a link down below where you can contact me. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night, whatever it is, wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video.